Niche. Do you need one? Do you not need one? Is it gonna haunt you for the rest of your life? Probably. Niche is like one of those words that just makes us wanna like pull our hair out, run out the room. You know what I'm saying? In all seriousness, I do want to tackle if you need a niche, should you have a niche, all these different things about our lovely friend Niche. Give a hand to Niche. Round of applause for Niche. But before we get into all of that, hello, my name is Sarah Gavia. I am a social media manager and a content creator. And if you are a creator or a business owner or someone who wants to grow on Instagram and social media, then you're in the right spot. Make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one. And now let's get on to talking about niche. So before we even get started, I don't want to harp on niche for too long because I know that you probably already have heard a million things about it. I'm going to go into the basics of what a niche actually is. So your niche consists of who and what. What does that mean? Who means who you're talking to. Is it moms of toddlers, women in their 20s, college students? The more specific you can get about the who, the better. And then it's the what. What are you actually talking about? Baking tips? Is it photography tips? Is it parenting tips? What are you actually posting about? What are you talking about? What's your thing? That's what niche is. Now, do you actually need one in order to successfully grow on Instagram or social media in general? The short answer, no, but kind of yes. Let me explain. Majority of the best content creators out there got popular because of a niche. Whether it's evident to you or not, there was something that they were posting that got them to where they are today. So specifically, if you are a business owner, I always believe that you need a niche because you have a clear goal in mind with your business. This is the goal, this is the plan, this is what I sell, this is who I'm talking to, this is my ideal customer or whatever. In that case, I say you need a niche. For a creator, it's a little bit different because maybe you're just trying to grow as a personal brand and you like a whole bunch of different topics. You like a whole bunch of different things. How do you pick just one? And so that's where I can totally understand that picking a niche can definitely be hard. But with that being said, I'm a firm believer that if you don't pick your niche, A, it's gonna be a lot harder to grow, especially if you wanna grow quickly. And B, a lot of times if you don't pick your niche kind of gets picked for you. And what I mean by that is maybe you have a video that goes viral and now you're kind of stuck only posting that type of content because people just want to see that. And so that's your new niche. Congratulations. So let's take a step back for just a second and talk about, I guess, some of the pros and cons of actually having a niche. The biggest pro to having a niche is that it is so much easier to grow. And I'm not just saying that based on my experience with niche, but I also manage a bunch of clients' accounts. And whenever there's a niche, it's always easier to grow. Me personally, I have two accounts that feature moi. One is my business account, social media management, social media tips, business tips, all of that good stuff. And the other account is all about ballet and dance and my experience as a dancer and mental health and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, that account might be a little less niched, but it's fairly obvious that my niche has been picked for me on that account because, oh my God, whenever I post anything that is not dance related, it just the reason why it's typically so much easier to grow when you have a niche is because A, you have a set goal. So it's really easy to create content because you're creating content all about the same sort of topic. And it's typically easier to do that than like to try to create all different types of content. And then also B, it's a lot easier to attract an audience that wants to see all of what you're posting. For example, if on a regular basis you post recipes, tips for dog moms, photography tips, your favorite pizza places in New York, and how to garden, it's gonna be really, really hard to find somebody who likes all of these things. Whereas if you just picked one of them, it's a lot easier. When you have one niche, you're only attracting people who want to see content in that niche. So every post that you make is directly a post everyone in your audience wants to see. When you have multiple niches, you're attracting multiple types of people who have multiple interests. And a lot of times what happens there is when you start to post, let's say, niche number 3 of 15, then the people who followed you because of niche number 1, they don't want to see niche number 3. And so now they unfollow you or they don't engage with that post, and that can be really frustrating to you. And so that's a huge pro to having a niche, is that it's just so much easier to gain that loyal audience that wants to engage with everything that you post, because everything that you post pertains to them. Now, on the flip side, the con to having a niche is that, let's be real, you are confined to just posting about one thing. You know, I post social media tips on this channel. Imagine if tomorrow I decided to post a recipe cooking video. You'd be like, okay, that's a little weird, girl. Like, are you good? It's because you know me as the social media girl. This is what my channel is. This is what I talk about. This is what I do. This is why you follow me. And if I all of a sudden just switched and started posting soccer highlight clips, you'd be like, okay, unfollow. I have a couple of different ways to make you feel a little bit less constricted with the idea of niche. Number one, and I know for a fact that not everyone's gonna wanna do this, and that's okay, is to have multiple accounts. Now, you don't need to have a million accounts. I get it. We are humans that love multiple things, and that is totally great and totally fine. But maybe pick like 2 of your niches and have 2 accounts like I do with my social media tips and my ballet stuff. Having those 2 things on the same page just wouldn't work out well for me, and I tried to do it in the past and it didn't work out well. That's why I have these things on 2 separate pages, because it just makes sense to do so. So that's one way that I'm able to feel a little less constricted just sticking to one thing, because now I have these 2 accounts where I can post 2 different things. The other way to feel a little less constricted in your niche is to utilize Instagram stories. The reality is that Instagram stories are for all of the behind the scenes things. I always suggest that your feed is only niche related content, because the reality is that if something decides to go viral tomorrow that has nothing to do with the rest of your content, you're kind of screwed. You might gain a bunch of followers that just don't care about the normal stuff that you post, and that really sucks for you. And so that's why I suggest that your feed sticks to a niche, sticks to your thing, what you're known for. But your stories, on the other hand, that's a whole different ballgame. Your Instagram stories can be literally anything and everything. I will post literally anything I want to on my Instagram stories, because I know that stories bring us closer to people and get that like deeper connection. And so if you decide to play basketball today, but your account is all about Instagram tips like mine, you can totally show your basketball on your stories. It goes away in 24 hours. It's only seen by your followers, and there's no potential for those stories to go viral and like pretty much sabotage your account. And so those would be my tips if you are feeling a little bit constricted with the idea of picking a niche. Really utilize Instagram stories, or possibly start another account. I mean, you know, whatever. I don't want to keep this too long, so if you want, I'll make a part 2 where I can talk about how to actually find your niche. Let me tell you, I'm also a very multi-passionate person. I mean, I could talk about multiple things for hours and hours and hours a day. And so it might be hard for you to figure out which of these things is actually worth my time, which of these things should I really go full force with. And so if you want that video, let me know, and I'd be happy to make a part 2. Just comment below. But the reality is that when it comes to niche, it's really a case-by-case basis. Again, there are totally some creators that have grown to millions of followers without having a typical niche. But a lot of times with those creators, you will notice that they grew because of a typical style of video. Maybe their editing style was different. They did something stupid or silly in every single video that made them stand out. So even if you don't have a niche and you decide to not go that route, just know that you need to have some sort of thing that makes you different. Otherwise, you're just gonna look like everyone else, and that can be really, really hard. I would love to hear from you about this topic, because I know that niche is very debated out there in the social media world. So let me know in the comments, do you stick with a niche, or do you kind of just like go with the flow? I don't know, man. The perfectionist in me kind of freaks out when I hear go with the flow, so I wish you luck. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. It really helps me out a lot and allows me to create more videos like this. Please also make sure to like this video. I feel like I don't say that enough, and I feel like it really helps the channel. So, you know, take 2 seconds out of your day and like the video. It would mean a lot to me. Listen, if you just heard all this talk about niche and you're like, maybe I should start a new account and start from scratch and have a clear niche. Maybe you want to start an additional account with an additional niche. I highly suggest that you watch this video next. My top tips for building a profile literally from scratch. What I would do if I had 0 followers and I was starting a brand new account. So make sure to watch that video next. I know you're going to absolutely love it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.